I guess it's up and running. Okay, I guess I'm up and running. Hey, what's going on, family? It's your boy JT, the corporatepreneur, and happy new year, y'all. Okay, it's 2024. If you're watching this video, we have made it. Go ahead and give yourself a hand clap. I wonder if y'all can hear the stuff that comes through here. Let me see. Can y'all hear any of this stuff? Let me see my chat. No, can anybody hear it? I wonder if y'all can hear any of that. Oh no, what's this? Maybe not. Let me try one more thing. Okay, maybe I can get rid of that. Don't worry about it. But in any event, I just wanted to bless the timeline real quick and go live. Okay, I know it's late. A lot of people are probably sleep, resting, whatever the case may be. But I am up. These are like entrepreneur hours. Kids and everybody sleep and rest. And then sometimes, like in the middle of the night, this is when you can get the most work done. You can accomplish the most things. So I'm going live. And if somebody joins, great. I'm sure a lot of people will catch the replay. And this is me practicing for when I'm speaking to the hundreds of thousands of people and even millions across the world one day, talking about whatever it is I'll be talking about in the future. But right now, I'm going to be talking about business funding and how you can get access to capital for your business in 2024. Okay. First and foremost, I got a list here of a couple of things that I'm going to be talking about. So real quick, a couple of things before I dive into this video. I don't know if the people on Instagram, if they tapped in, if they can, maybe they are. Okay. I don't know if the people on Instagram, if they tapped in. Okay, cool, cool, cool. This is on Facebook. Yeah, so I'm doing something different, right? Like I'm doing this little studio setup. I'm going live on Instagram. I'm going live on Facebook. I'm going live on YouTube. So I'm in like three different places at once right now. But before I get into that, if you're watching this video right now and you just know, hey, you know what? I'm already ready for funding. I just need to know what my options are. Okay. I got a couple links you can click. There's one link attached to this video. If you're on Facebook, it'll be there. And if you're watching on Instagram, if you hit the link in the bio, I've got to get funding link there. And then on YouTube, just comment the number 7 or comment funding below this video. And then I'll make sure myself or someone on the team reaches out to you. So that way we can get you going right away. But for everybody else who needs a little education, right? You need a little bit of know-how, a little bit of motivation, right? Whatever the case may be. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how you can get your business funded, okay, in 2024. Now, some of this stuff may be elementary if you've been following me for a while or if you're new to the page, right? Whatever the case may be, I'm going to hit on a couple things that can help out a variety of different business owners at different phases and stages. And hopefully you'll find something helpful based on what I'm going to share with you guys tonight, this evening, or this morning, whenever you guys see it or whatever. So first and foremost, okay, when creating your LLC or S corp, C corp, whatever entity you decide, it's important to have a good name. Okay, you want to have a strong business name, and the strongest business names are typically the vaguest business names. And what do I mean by that? So, for example, if you're going to open up a tire shop or a bakery or whatever it is, your business name does not need to specifically say what you do. So it doesn't need to be, Tony's Tires or Barbara's Bakery, right? Whatever your business is or whatever the problem is that you're solving, your business name doesn't necessarily have to be in your LLC, right? You could do a DBA, doing business as, but you want your business name to be something vague, something generic. And you want this for a couple of reasons. One, when it comes to getting funding, certain keywords that are in business names can be an automatic red flag to lenders and cause them to be hesitant or cause you to get an automatic denial when you go to get funding. So things like real estate, trucking, anything with finance or credit repair, construction, all those names or all those keywords, those power words are high risk words, okay, for banks and lending institutions. And sometimes if you have that in your name, some places won't even allow you to open up a business bank account, depending on what your industry is and depending on what that name is that's tied to your business. So my recommendation is to always have somewhat of a vague business name. And also, when you think about a lot of these powerful brands and these billion-dollar companies, their names don't necessarily tie into what they do. When you think about, a Nike, a Starbucks, or Walmart, or Sam's Club, or any of these places, right? A lot of these places, their business names, their corporation names aren't necessarily tied to what they do. They're kind of vague, and that's going to give you the most play when you're going into a bank and you're trying to put yourself in position to get access to capital and get access to funding for your business. Okay, so that's the first piece. You want a vague business name. Okay, if you do have something like you want to get jazzy with your name, do the DBA under your entity's name. Okay, that's when you can put specifically down what you want to do if you want to do that. So I'll give you an example. So one of the things that I'm doing, I haven't rolled this out or announced it. These two people here, this sellout crowd, you guys are here first. But I started a new company for my kids at the end of the year. It's a consulting company. We specialize in content creation and marketing and ads generation for small business owners. I'll be rolling it out in another week or so. But the name of the business is Israel and Isaiah Consulting, and we're doing business as the marketing agency, which is called Working My Ads Off. Okay, that's my DBA, right? So I didn't want to start with that being just the main name. So I did want to have a little bit of that creative authority with it. So I made the DBA something else outside of the actual entity's name, if that makes any sense. But let's move right along. I got a couple other points here that I want to touch on real quick. So the next thing, okay, so we got a vague business name. Now, the next thing you guys want to get, and some of this stuff is kind of out of order, but just bear with me. I just want to make sure I go over these points with you. Okay. Y'all, you got to get a business bank account. Okay. You have to get a business bank account. And not only do you have to get a business bank account, the revenue and the money that you have generating coming into your business, let it go into that business bank account. Okay. The first reason why you need a business bank account, one, a lot of times your business age starts when you actually open up a business bank account, not necessarily when you file your articles of incorporation. And this is because all banks and all lending institutions, okay, especially when you open up a business account, they report that data and that information to the Small Business Financial Exchange. Okay. Now, the Small Business Financial Exchange, this is another reporting agency behind the scenes, okay, that takes data, okay, and they house information. And this plays a part with being able to get access to capital, access to funding, a lot of different things kind of working on your behalf behind the scenes. So in order to throw your hat in the ring and legitimize your business and to get put on this Small Business Financial Exchange, which could essentially play a part in the amount of funding that you can get, you want to open up a business bank account right away, and you want to have as much revenue as possible coming into that business bank account. Okay. So open up that business bank account right away and have the actual cash flow coming in there. I don't care like what you got to do in order to streamline this, right? So if you need to get a merchant account, okay, so that's like a Square or Stripe or a PayPal business, right? Whatever you need to do, you could even use those. But all those accounts, everything needs to be synced up to an actual business bank account. In addition to the Small Business Financial Exchange, you having a footprint there, or you having a presence there. When we're talking about going to get funding and different types of funding you can get for your business, if you got, especially if you got bad credit, your credit ain't where it needs to be. There are revenue based loans, okay, lines of credit that you could access just by showing the amount of revenue and bank deposits that your business is doing. Okay. So for example, even like if you got Square, Stripe, whoever your merchant account is, they even have special loan products for you based off your business's revenue. So right out of the gate, maybe 6 months, I'm not gonna say right out of the gate, but maybe 3 to 6 months to a year after doing business, they see you got revenue coming in, they may offer you your first loan. Okay. So it's important to document and have a track record of all the cash flow that you have coming in for your business. Okay. So we talked a little bit about the merchant account. You want to have that business bank account. That is so important. So that way you can have that footprint on the Small Business Financial Exchange. Okay. Which is like a business credit reporting agency. So you want to make sure you guys have your footprint there. Okay. So that's why we need the business bank account. Oh, and this is another thing. Okay. when you're going to open up your business bank account, maybe you may want to, if you're watching this, write this down, or maybe I'll leave it up. Okay. Um, you want to go to NAICS. Okay. You want to find out what your NAICS code is. Okay. This is your NAICS code. Okay. Now this code helps identify which type of industry you're in, which type of business you are. Um, this code has a lot of data tied to it about your business, your industry, the likelihood of your business being successful, the likelihood of your business failing, the other types of businesses that have that code and the type of revenue that they generate. This code is extremely important. This code could also dictate the amount of funding you can get for your business. Okay. So, and you need to get this code before you go to the bank. And why you need to get this code before you go to the bank? Most bankers that you deal with when they're when they're opening up these accounts, especially if you go in person, right? They're going to ask you, oh, well, what do you do? What kind of business do you have? Like what do you do as a business owner? And you'll tell them, right? You do the best of your ability to tell them or explain to them what type of business you have. Now, the issue with that is because most of these bankers, to be completely honest, they don't know the severity or the significance of how important it is to have the correct NAICS code. So they'll give you something. Okay, he said something about e-commerce, or he said something about food. Okay, let me just pick this right here. This sounds good enough, right? By them just picking something that sounds good enough and that's not specific to what you asked, what you told them, they could potentially be picking a high risk NAICS code. And when you go to get funding or you applying for stuff down the road, you can get automatically denied or you can get lesser loan amounts. Okay. Because they just picked a code that was kind of close to, but not really specific to what your business is doing. So, and I'll give an example. So I said real estate can be a high risk industry. Now, there's different NAICS codes inside of real estate. So you could actually be, a real estate developer. You could be a real estate investor. You could be a property manager, or you could provide short-term rental housing. Being a property manager or providing some type of short-term rental housing is a lesser risk code than somebody who's doing real estate investing. So by you just saying, hey, I do real estate, you going into a bank, they put you down as that high risk code. Now you can't get nothing. Okay. So it's extremely important to know your code, right? It's like a 6-digit code. You can go to NAICScodes.com. You can look up there. You can look at all the different codes and the breakdowns of the industries that are up there. And you can pick a code that's best aligned to what you do. As a rule of thumb, most codes that start off with the 3 digits of 541, that's like the consulting space. Those are generally safe, right? Those are your generally safe NAICS codes. All my businesses are, yeah, I want to say like start with that 541, or I think I may have my property management company starts with a different one. I don't remember what that code is off top. If you guys want to just shoot me a DM and I'll send it to you. But yeah, you just want to make sure you have the proper code. You don't want to get miscoded when you go into a bank. And a lot of people don't know this stuff. Like, I'm giving y'all some game. Like these two people who on here, I don't know who you are, whatever. Like this is some real game right here. Okay, for free. I usually charge for this stuff. So y'all, I don't even know if I might leave this up. I might take it down. I might make people pay for it to watch it again because I'm cooking right now. Okay. So we talked about the bank account, we talked about the NAICS code. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about business address. Okay. And some of this stuff, y'all, it may seem generic or it may seem like trivial or whatever, but y'all, like this is the stuff that's a make or break. You see maybe these TikTok or these videos, these reels. Oh, hey, I got 70,000, I got $100,000 in funding, I got 500,000, I got like whatever those large amounts. It all starts with a firm foundation. You got to have a good foundation. Otherwise, you ain't going to be able to get no money. I don't care what some of these other folks out here talking about. Oh, you can roll out of bed. You don't need no credit. You don't need this. You don't need that. You can just, man, you can't get funding. You got to have something in order to get something. Okay. You need cash flow. You need credit. You need collateral. You need something to bring to the table in order to get this money from a bank. Okay. So, what else? So business address. Okay. Business address. You need a commercial business address. Okay. Now, I know for most people starting out, hey, we starting an LLC, we doing a business. We may be starting out of our home. Okay. I strongly advise against that as best as you can. Now, some business models that you based out of home, but there's a couple reasons why I want you to separate yourself. One, when you form an LLC, that business that you now created is public record. Okay. So now people can look you up in different databases and different systems, and find out where you stay, if they wanted to, and they could pull up on you. And especially for, women, children in this era of stalking and everything, man, you just want to protect yourself from the crazies out there in the world. So I recommend go ahead and get you a virtual address. Now you got a couple options here. I'm gonna try to break this down, give you some game when you're going to get these virtual addresses or these commercial spaces for your business. Now, you can go to a place like Opus, Regis, Alliance, or you could even Google locally. What are some virtual address spaces that I could rent, locally in my zip code in my area? You could type that in, or you can also you can go to so you can type in, like, say, for Indiana, right? So you can type in Indiana, and you can type in registered agent services, and they can also serve as a virtual address or a registered address for you. It's a brick and mortar building. They can forward the mail for you, all of that stuff, right? But that will give you a space or a place to actually house your business address, to have mail forwarded to you without having to put your personal information out there for everybody to see and to find. Okay. Now, a couple little pros and cons about using the registered agent versus just the traditional virtual addresses that I mentioned, like Opus, Regis, so on and so forth. When it comes to getting funding, okay, a lot of times your business address, where you are, you can only bank with banks that are in that zip code, or that footprint, right? Based on where you are. So, for example, I'm here in Northwest Indiana. There's some banks that are down in Indianapolis that I can't bank with because my business footprint is up here in Northwest Indiana. So if you're gonna get a registered agent place, a lot of times those registered agent places, although they may be cheaper, it's only a one-time cost or fee for the year. It's going to restrict your business to only being able to bank within a certain footprint. So, for example, in Indiana, the registered agent place, now there may be some other ones throughout the state, but like the main one is in Fort Wayne. Okay. So it's cool. You can have a business in Fort Wayne. That could be the main address. They could forward the mail to your house, but you want to make sure that the banks that they have in Fort Wayne mirror the banks that are here in Northwest Indiana. So that way it makes the most sense for you to build those banking relationships. Okay. I hope this is making sense, right? The next thing, now on the flip side of that, when you use places like Opus, Regis, Alliance, so on and so forth, or if you Google the other places that are virtual addresses in your area, those will be like right near your home or right in your backyard, right? So we talking maybe a few minutes away up the block, whatever the case may be. And you don't have to worry about your banking footprint in those scenarios, or those types of situations, because those virtual addresses are local to you. Okay. So yeah, that's business addresses. And so the Opus Regis ones, those are going to be a monthly subscription. Okay, it may be $100 a month, whatever. You want to make sure you got the overhead for that to be able to handle it. If you don't have that right now to be able to take advantage of paying $100 a month for your virtual address, or 50, whatever it is, then I would recommend going the registered agent address route. Okay. And then that's usually like a one-time payment for the year, maybe $250, something like that. But you pay it for the year, you're done. And also, what's cool about the registered agent is that they will help you file your beneficial ownership form. So if you guys have been watching, I don't know if you watch the news or anything like that, but legislation passed a new law that all business owners, if I believe if you have under 10 employees, if you're doing under $5 million a year, you have to report beneficial ownership status to FinCEN. Okay. And if you do sign up through a registered agent, they'll take care of that document filing for you. Now, if you don't file this filing, there's different penalties and fees. I think it's like $500 a day. If you don't submit this, you got 30 days to file this form out, to fill this form out. If you create a new entity this year, if you created one last year, you got till 2025 to do so. Right. So which is why if you guys have been on this call at the beginning, I created my entity for my children. I created it last December because I didn't want to have to be worrying about no other paperwork or anything like that. Let me just buy myself time to go into 2025, and then I'll file for all my businesses then. All right. So that's that. Us registered agent and business address. Okay. Kind of 2-in-1. You can look into both of those things. Extremely helpful. I talked about the NAICS code. Okay. That's extremely important when you're going to get funding. Look that up. Google it, find your industry as best you can, and you want to try to pick a code that's like not high risk. If you guys need more help with this kind of stuff, I'm gonna be offering some one-on-ones, but my one-on-ones they start at $1,000 an hour now, right? Some people may be like, "Dang, man, that's a lot," or whatever the case may be. But man, you guys, the value and the information that I'm bringing, that I'm even giving to y'all right now for free, man, I got to get paid for my time and my expertise. So if you want help with some of these things, you want me to walk through some of this stuff with you, we can do it. I'll do a business credit, business structure, business funding audit. I'll put some stuff together for you. But my rate for those one-on-one meetings are $1,000 for the hour. If you need more time, we can talk about that once we get on the call. I initially do like another 250 or so for each additional 30 minutes outside of that. But starting up, it's $1,000 for the hour. I'll record those calls as well. And I'll also give you a couple ebooks and resources that you can kind of hold on to as well. Right. Like I really want to make sure people get their money's worth when we have these meetings and these sit downs. Right. So that's that. Oh, and another thing, y'all. Okay. Um, Social media presence, websites, all of that stuff is extremely important. I always tell people, I was like, man, I remember when we went to we bought a company vehicle. It's been about 2 years now, man. We bought our first company vehicle. Man, my wife totaled her personal car, and we was living the dream. It was like, man, dang, she done totaled this car. And this was like just before it was like the wedding and everything, right? So man, she had totaled that car, whatever. And I was like, dang man, now we got to get a new vehicle. And I didn't want us to have to get a new vehicle because we were making these moves in like the real estate space, right? We had some investments, some that panned out, some that didn't. And the last thing that we wanted was to have our credit tied down or our debt to income, messed up with another vehicle on there. So we was like, dang, like what can we do? So we went ahead and we purchased the vehicle under my business name, right? So we got the vehicle under the business name, a $60,000 vehicle that we got. But when we went to go apply and I fill out all the paperwork and the forms, they wanted to know, like, hey, tell me about your business. Show me your website. What do you guys do? Right? Let me look you up. Let me see if I can find you. So having a social media presence, specifically a website presence, is extremely important. Now, I don't have to be, something super crafted, some super deep or expensive, website. You can go to GoDaddy, you can go to Fiverr. They got templates now. They got AI softwares out here now that can create websites in like 2 minutes. I got an AI list that I'm going to be dropping soon to help you guys with different tools and resources to make your life easier because this AI stuff is so cool. But you want to make sure you got a shell or something where people can go look at, so that way they can see who you are, see what your business is, right? So make sure you get a website. Like I said, it doesn't have to be something crazy, super well, super crafted. All you got to say, hey, who we are, what you do, and how to get in contact with us, right? So 3 things. So who we are, what you do, and how to get in contact with us, right? So you want to at least have those 3 things on your website, and that should be good enough to get you in the game. So that way you could at least pass the eye test when a lender goes to look at your website. Okay. What else? So now these are just the other couple like housekeeping items. Um, you guys, personal credit is important. All right. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care what they say, what they're talking about on the internet, on Beyonce's internet, Al Gore's internet, whose ever internet it is. I don't know like who the person is, but like get your personal credit together. Your personal credit is important because this is going to give you so much more flexibility and so many more options, okay, when you're going after funding for your business. And some of the things that really help the personal credit piece, and I made a video about this too. I feel like, I'll be really giving some game. I feel like it falls on deaf ears, but maybe not. But no, I know not everyone is in position or is really thinking about getting funding for their business or whatever. But so one of the things that I learned that's pretty neat that lenders look for in these different algorithms and these AI systems that we trying to beat, and they, got these formulas to determine how much capital we could get access to and stuff like that. There's this thing called comparable credit. And comparable credit is basically the credit limits, the amounts and different things that you have on the personal side. Okay. All those things that you have on the personal side being used as a gauge to determine how much funding you can get for your business on the business side. Right. So a lot of funding programs, like even for when people come through funding with me, when I work with them directly, I say I've seen the best results with people who have a high limit credit card on the personal side. So, for example, if you got a minimum, like you need at least something that's well, I would say last year used to be around 2,500, but like anything over 2,500, ideally, if you could say if you got a $5,000 credit card or more, 2,500 at the low end. But once you get from that 2,500 to $5,000 credit card limit on the personal side, we can, 5x that on the business side when it goes to get 5x, maybe even 10x in some cases on the business side when it comes to get funding, right? So having those strong comparables pay dividends when you're going to get funding on the business side. Okay. So that's basically what comparable credit is. So even if you are like a client and you want to come get funding with me, and when I look at your profile, I'm giving you some game here. One of the things that I'll probably look at is like, hey, let's look at your personal credit. Let's see what you got going on here. Okay. Because this is going to give us a gauge, in terms of what we need to do to put you in position to get the most amount of funding. So like if we sit down on a call, you say, hey JT, I need 100,000. All right. Well, let's look at your personal credit. Let's start there. Let's see where we are. So I can try to get you as close as I can to that dollar amount as quick as we can. And also here's another thing too, when it comes to funding, why personal credit is important, the quickest way to get access to capital and at the best rates, like right out of the gate, is going to be 0% interest credit cards, y'all. Okay. I know people want the lines of credit and different stuff like that, but man, you get you a 0% interest credit card for 12 to 18 for 21 months, and it's a 30,000, 40,000, a dollar limit card. And you running it, you making plays, but you only got to pay a minimum, payment a month on that 20 or $30,000 of $100. Like, come on, what we talking about? And then you get multiple cards like that. You talk about really running some plays. This is the strategy, and this is how this stuff works. And you use the 0% interest funding until your business is old enough and you generated the cash flow. So now you can get the lines of credit. Okay. So this is the game here, man. I'm giving y'all the game. Like, I don't know. Like it's, I'll be hearing, okay. Oh man, I got a 15K card, man. Right on, bro. We got Joseph here in the chat. I didn't realize I could see my chat stuff here. Okay, so we got that. That's comparable credit. That's important. Okay. Now, yes, there are options if your personal credit isn't in a great spot, right? You got your CDFI lenders. Okay, you got micro loans. Okay, yeah, you got some of those options. Of course, you've got grants and different things like that. And for a lot of those, programs and different things, you want to make sure you have a strong business plan. Okay. There are so many templates out there. I've got a business template with some of my products that I give some of my students who come to class on how to write a business plan. There's YouTube videos, man. You could even use Chat GPT to help you out with a business plan. Like it's so many tools and resources out there. Also, if you are, I don't know where you guys are watching from, but almost every major city has some type of business resource center. So, okay, the small business development centers in your state, reach out to them. They will help you for free. Okay, they'll help you find grants. They'll help you, structure the business, different things like that. They're a great resource. Okay, they are a great resource. And then you can come to somebody like me who I can help fill in the gaps in places where they may not have the expertise about the credit or just the different business credit tips and tricks and strategy and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're trying to get your minority business certifications or government contract setups, man, those incubators and systems are really great for that, and they'll help you for free. So don't sleep on your local business, incubators or directories or whatever. I always recommend people go there to get that help for free. I can help with some of those things, but I'm going to charge you for it. And because I want to look out, I'd rather you go get the free resources where it makes the most sense. Then you could come to me and I can do what I specialize in best, which is getting you access to the most capital. Okay. So what else do we got? We talked about website. We talked about that. Talked about comparable credit. And then too, like, yeah, okay, like I'm gonna give you a little bit of game here. This is what's kind of cool too. I talked a little bit about, credit stacking and stuff like that. In my one-on-ones, we go on it, we talk about this a little bit deeper. And this is how you're really able to put yourself in position to get that $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in funding at 0% interest. Okay, is by stacking your credit, right? And I guess this goes back to kind of the bank accounts and building the banking relationships as well. So there are three main credit bureaus, right? We got TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Okay. Now each bank or lending institution or even banking or business product when it comes to making a credit decision, sometimes each bank, they will only pull from one bureau. So for example, if you bank with BMO Harris, they pull from TransUnion. If you bank with PNC, they pull from Experian. If you bank with Truist, they pull from Equifax. Those are three different banks that pull from three different bureaus to make their lending decision. So you could essentially go into each one of those banks, apply for a banking product, only get one inquiry, and get funded, because the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, because they pull from a different bureau to make their lending decision. All right. So that's how you can essentially stack credit or stack approvals, is by going to different banks that pull from different credit bureaus to make a lending decision. So that way, when you walked into PNC and you got 50,000, you walk into Truist, you got 50,000, right? You walked into PNC, you got 50,000. All those other bureaus and banks, they don't know that you just got $50,000, right? Because they pulled from a different credit bureau in order to make that lending decision. Okay. And that's essentially the strategy of what we will go after, how you could stack and get multiple banking products. Okay. With the minimal amount of hard inquiries and damage to your personal credit report. All right. And I'm going to stop right there. Okay. I felt like I gave enough game to help some folks out, to put some folks in a good space going into 2024. Just to kind of recap real quick, I may leave this video for a little bit, but you want to make sure you have a vague business name. Okay. What you do does not have to be in your business name. So if you're selling tacos, it don't have to be Taco Timmy's, right? It could be something enterprises or something solutions, or, whatever, something vague, right? It doesn't have to necessarily say what you do in your business name. And if you want to get real freaky with it, you can do the DBA, where you can put down what the business does in that. But by and large, initially, just keep it vague, keep it simple. You don't want anything to affect your funding. Get that business bank account right away. That's going to set the timer for when your business age, the clock for your business age starts. Another reason why that's important is because when your business is usually 2.5 years or older, that's when you can typically get access to lines of credit. Now, some banks and lending institutions, they have special programs where they may give your business a line of credit if you're under that 2-year mark. But by and large, industry standard across the board, typically it's 2 years in business, with the caveat of some special programs with other lending institutions. All right. I talked about the registered agent. You can run that play along with the virtual business address. You want to make sure you got a commercial space. Don't use your home. And then your NAICS code, go to naicscode.com or org, whatever that site is. Look up the different codes, look up the industries. There's also, if you Google restricted industries, it'll let you know which industries are restricted and which can't get the most funding. All right. Also, when you play on the NAICS code site, you'll see like which codes, which industries are making the most money. So when you're filling out applications and you're sharing your projected income, you can say, hey, based on my NAICS code and these 5 heavy hitters in this industry, they're doing $1 billion. Now, hey, I might not be doing $1 billion in my first year, but this is an industry that is capable of producing that type of income. So you can probably stretch or inflate your numbers on your funding application based off the NAICS code that you select. All right, I'm giving y'all some game now. Whoever this one person is, you getting sauced up tonight for free. All right, so website, make sure you got a good shell in place for that. What else we talked about? Okay, talked about comparable credit. Yeah, credit stacking a little bit. So yeah, y'all. Like that's pretty much it. I just wanted to hit y'all with those three. Not those three. Those couple things. What's going on, Julia? Yeah, just wanted to hit y'all with those couple things, man. While I'm up here tonight, I am about to. I'm gonna shut this down. I need to go ahead and give me some sleep, give me some rest. But yeah, I was up. I wanted to bless the timeline. Happy New Year! Shout out to everybody in 2024. I hope this is your best year yet. I appreciate you guys tuning into the live. Man, I got some exciting things I'm gonna roll out this year, and I just want y'all to stay tuned. Right, I want to continue helping people, being a blessing. Helping business owners, even if you're not a business owner, right? If you're blessed or you're helped by this information, you are who I do this for. All right. So with that being said, man, I'm signing off. Hope y'all have a good night or good morning, right? However you want to look at it, and I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.